Hello, how are we doing, guys? As promised, today's video is going to be a League Play settings video where I go through my controller and audio and stuff like that. But first, I wanted to share this crazy clip I got on League Play this morning. We were down on control 4-8, and I get a 1v6 to clean it up. I'm chuffed by it. I'm going to let this run, and then we're going to get into the settings, so stick around. So let's jump straight into the settings here. So we've got the controller settings. I play on a 8.8 sensitivity, mainly because I use a sub more than an AR. It just allows me to maneuver in close areas quicker. For example, if someone slides through a door, I'm able to track them quicker rather than being slow to react. It also helps my maneuverability, like when I'm sliding around trying to get out of sticky situations. A high zoom means I can sort of maneuver my way around better than not. When I'm using an AR, I don't change it either, so I think once you're used to it, it's fairly easy to get used to, obviously. But I do play on a 0.75 ADS stick sensitivity for low zoom, which means that if I am using a 74U or a Krig, I still am able to beam across map. If that, I've tried it, I didn't originally have it this high, I think I had about 0.85, something like that, but when I put my sensitivity up to 8.8, it was really difficult to track people across the map, even with aim assist, because you'd move your finger, like the analog stick slightly, and it'd go so quickly. So having a 0.75 just to be able to contest at the long distances. I have a 0.9 high zoom stick sensitivity, but I don't really use snipers too often, so it doesn't really affect me too much. My button layout is tactical, which basically switches the melee and prone buttons. So instead of pressing B to prone or crouch, I just press the right stick in. I've played on tactical for absolutely years. I think back in the day, drop shotting used to be the thing, like NW2, COD 4, stuff like that. So I haven't really changed it since then. And at the moment, I play with an Elite controller, Xbox Elite controller, similar to like a Scuff or a Battle. Oh, what's it called? Battle Beavers. I think it's Battle Beavers. And I have two paddles on here. One is jump, one is melee. Jump's a staple, but I think my melee used to be stim. But now I'm playing a bit more League rather than pubs. Being able to shot punch people is quite a good tactic in those close engagements. I don't play flipped. Again, with the Elite controller, you can have trigger stops, which means that the triggers don't go far, like too far in, which means you can still trigger, like use your trigger finger. So that's just a default. Don't play inverted. My aim response curve type is standard. The reason I would have it dynamic, but the controller I use allows me to change the aim response curve for the controller no matter what game I'm playing, whether it's Apex, Warzone, Cold War. As long as they're all on standard, my response curve type will be essentially dynamic because of the settings of the controller. It's something you can do in like the Xbox accessory settings. I'm not sure if Scuff does that, but that's what I have. So if I didn't have a controller that I could do that to, I would definitely have it on dynamic just for the quicker flicks. Controller vibration I actually have enabled. A lot of people tend to disagree with me thinking this is a good idea, but if I'm honest, I've played with it enabled for 10 plus years playing CODs, so I don't really mind it too much. And I've tried taking it off actually, and it's quite hard to. The amount I rely on reacting to the vibrations of being shot rather than the visual aspects of it is mad. So I can't take that off, to be honest. Obviously I have aim assist. My target aim assist mode is standard. I think unless you're using a sniper, standard and legacy is what you want. But if you're a sniper, going with trick shots and drag scopes and things like that, precision focusing are pretty good. We then move on to ADS aim assist, which I obviously have on. I have auto mantle off because that's the most frustrating thing in the world if you get caught out in a gunfight mantling randomly. So I have that at manual. My ground on press, end of sight hold rather than toggle. and these guys don't really apply for league play. So yeah, my stick layout is default. I don't play on Southpaw Legacy or anything crazy like that. Right, with my threshold, my input threshold, you only really want to change the minimum ones. The max isn't too much of an issue. But the minimum input threshold is basically, you want to put it to as low as you possibly can without causing a stick drift. So all I did was I put it all the way down to 1, got into a private lobby, let go of my analog sticks, and if I was either moving slowly or aiming around slightly, I'd up it a couple. And I'd kept doing that until I found the sweet point, which was 4. If you've got an older controller, I'm pretty sure it's going to be higher, just because I think you tend to get more stick drift with the older controllers. So these are really, well, to be fair, so is everything, personal preference, but this is on a controller by controller basis, so I would recommend playing about with this. It means that you won't get stick drift, but your controller will react to your movements as quickly as possible. So your aim won't be messed up or anything like that. Auto move forward and auto sprint disabled. Sprint behavior go to. Sprint cancels reload is an interesting one. Instead of YYing, I just sprint to cancel my reload if I'm in a gunfight. So for example, if I'm sort of taking cover, reloading, if I just press, I'd much rather just press sprint to cancel the reload rather than taking my right thumb off the right analog stick and YYing. It's just, it works for me. So that's why I have that. Parachute isn't a problem. My interact, reload, and my equipment behavior is hold, which means that basically when you cook a grenade, you can cook a grenade and you don't have to press it again to let go of it, essentially. The interact reload behavior I have as prioritize interact. On Cold War and Modern Warfare, I had it on contextual tap, and this is essentially the Cold War's version of contextual tap. It just means you can loot quicker on Warzone, and as I do play a little bit of Warzone, save me changing around, I do just try and stick to that sort of setting so I don't have to get used to it over and over again. So that is the controller settings done. With regards to graphics, not much has changed here, to be honest. I have changed the colorblind mode of the enemy. Instead of having it red, which is default, I have it at purple, and the only reason for that is when the game first came out, visibility was utterly poor. So in order for me to see, like, even like the red name tags, when they popped up, it still wasn't the easiest to see. So I thought, right, let's pick a colour that's absolutely glaring, which still looks like an enemy. So instead of going for blue, I just went for purple, and that helped huge. So I would recommend, if you are struggling seeing people, change the enemy colour from red to a brighter colour, pink, purple, even blue, if you can switch around your ally and parties and stuff like that. So there is that. Brightness is dependent on how you want it, really. That's not too much of a problem. I have the Series X, so luckily I do have 120 Hz refresh rate. Obviously you need the monitor as well for that, so I'm running 20 Hz, which is always helpful for the more competitive side of things. Field of view is 100. Again, that's completely down to you. I found it the best balance for me, where I haven't got tunnel vision, but yeah, I can still see people at longer ranges. So I would recommend starting at 100 and then playing around from there if I was new to the game. I have the ADS field of view affected, and motion blur all the way off. Honestly, there's nothing worse than having motion blur on a game. It makes it harder to see enemies when you're moving, I found. So that's all the way off. And yeah, okay, so audio. I have music and dialogue volume pretty much all the way down, 20-25%. And the main reason for that is so when I'm in like an intense situation or Search and Destroy and I'm trying to clutch it and it's like a 1v3, for example, I don't want to be hearing music suddenly starting when it's 30 seconds left, or some Captain Price or whoever it is go in my ear saying, "Oh, the time's running out." So I've turned them all the way down, just for the lack of distraction, to be honest. Everything else is at 100. I've got a audio mix thing on my mic, so I can actually control the volume as like instantly. So I'll stick these at 100 and then just play however I want to play, and adjust it on my mic. Everything else I think is pretty default. Audio preset high boost. This is the best for my headset, I found, just simply because it enabled me to hear footsteps and really locate gunfire, really. So I would recommend trying high boost to see how you go if you're not sure and you think the audio is a bit crappy. So yeah, I have that hit marker sound effect enabled, just so you know you're hitting them. You probably do anyway, but because you get the visual cue. But yeah, they're my audios. Interface is pretty standard. Keyboard and mouse. Yeah, so that's it. Hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you guys enjoyed the nice clip at the start. It was absolutely mad. The team were buzzing after that. So yeah, if you have any questions, drop a comment and I'll be answering very shortly. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. I'll see you in a bit.